Sky High 100, right? I guess, but
Close.
close. So yeah, so like getting me back into beats was so a couple weeks ago I was at a friend's house in LA and he was showing me Serato. And then there's this thing called Serato stems within it, which you can like mute out the vocals, mute out the bass line, mute out the drums or whatever, right? And so I was looking at it, and then when you give certain things synced, you can like make your own mashup. And so the idea was like I wanted to do like original samples with the rap vocals or whatever, right? Or like pay homage or mix it to like do the rap beat with original sample vocals or something like that. And so one that stood out to me was it was by Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, um which is that
I'll be.
yes, exactly, right. And so that I'll Be song was by this other group, and the original song was just so fire to me. I was like, man, it's actually kind of better than that to me than the what Foxy Brown and Jay-Z did. And I was like, I'd rather just do that and then loop in Jay-Z's part on their part where it says, "That's right, we drop hits." Like when it's their hook, it's Jay-Z comes in and puts, "That's right, we drop hits," and it's telling me how nasty can you get all the way from the hood and the neck of the wood, blah blah, right? And so that's how it was going. And I was like, oh, let me get into DJing, right? And looking up different things or whatnot to set up, and I didn't, just because the month has been busy, kind of didn't get to it. And so I was like, all right. Then it's funny how things were happening. My friend hits me up. I haven't talked to him a long time. Who kind of is uh is like the my mentor that got me into beats. Jeff is his name. I met him when I was in the Navy, and he hits me up. It's like, yo, man, do you have this? And then it's like, check this out. I'm gonna send you Serato. I think it's not Serato Studio, which is a program that has Serato stems in it, so you can make the beats. So it's like, check this out.
Oh,
So I went to go try to check it out. I was loaded it, air quotes, right? Um, checking it out, and then literally last week, while loading it up, I get an email from Serato, and it says that Serato sample, which I already have, has been updated to include stems. And I was like, that's what I was looking for. So I started to mess with that to see how I can do different ideas of making beats. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just cheat
mind
mode.
blowing.
Yeah. And I was like, this is gonna be cheat mode.
Ooh.
And so I was like, and that's where it got me into like, okay, well, I'm gonna start making some, now that this is that, now I'm gonna try to mess around with different ideas and different ways to sample a little bit. Although oftentimes though, even when you heard the new beat, it's like there's times where I do feel like I'm stagnant on the drum patterns or whatever.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to get like, do you know who Jake One is?
Yeah. Tuxedo, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to get like Jake One or Illmind or
Jake one's
certain.
nice with it, bro. He's nice with it,
So
man.
he does a lot of sampling of real drums or whatever. And so there's that. Sometimes when I get into making music, it's like, to what part is it that you're making your own? If you just chop up a drums loop and you put it in a certain place and you play it, and then you chop up a sample and you play it, is that making beats? And that's that weird part, right? I guess it could be like cooking, right? Like we always say this, like the cooking and beats. That's why people say I'm in the lab cooking. Like you can make all your stuff with your own ingredients fresh, right? You can be like, hey, you know what? I got my own drum. I got my own piano. I make my own thing, all fresh. I even make the piano myself, right? Or you can use the ingredients that are already set and cook too. You get Tony Satchery to make your spicy Cajun food and hella high blood pressure. You can do that. Or you can make your own seasoning salt. You know what
Yo,
I'm
high
saying?
blood pressure music is today's music for sure.
High blood pressure music. Hold on, take this medicine real quick. All right, hold on.
Time out. You're listening to Sky High Radio.
Now that you say that, though, straight up, that should be my first like album, high blood pressure music, because it means so much in so many ways.
I
Like,
mean,
right?
the timing's right, brother. It's so funny that we're having this conversation today. It's the blue corn moon, last moon uh, of the year. So yeah, harvest is abundance, is it's a changing of the season. It
Hmm.
was kind of cool, man. That's I'm on board with that. I like the degrees. Am I to remember Mr. Kanye West is his STEM thing, that thing that was kind of that's not his technology, but he just created a thing that kind of played with the idea of it, right? Remember
I
the
don't
STEMS
know.
program that he had? It was that little circle thing with the little bars, and
Oh,
then
you know
you.
what? So I don't know when that came out. I don't honestly, I don't remember when that came out to say what came first. Because Serato is a DJ program for a very long time where people used. I don't know what came first, but I do remember I wanted to say his thing was like a looping thing. It was like you can just press it and make instant loop beats or whatever.
Well, you could listen to a
Um,
song and then take the stems out, and you could just like isolate certain. And it was just like this little pad, and then you just plug
yeah.
into your phone or even plug into a computer, and it was received like hella people were laughing at it. But it was, to me, I was like, that is some wild technology. I was like, that didn't fly. And I don't know if that came under his brand or if it was co-opted with another company. But the name is interesting because
Oh,
I'm
it
familiar with
was, yeah. It
Serato.
was
Yeah.
why Kanye West stem player is bad for the future of music.
But then now
Remix
there's stems by Serato.
West stems player. Hmm.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Stem player. Yeah. I didn't know. Maybe.
I think I
Shoot.
brought it
Like,
up on the show. I don't know if you were familiar with it, but I think it was just kind of one of those headlines that kind of got third page news and then just kind of got drowned out because it was on the market and then it kind of died away. I think it was met with a lot of controversy, but now looking back at it, you're like, that's interesting because that was a totally different time in his life. You know what I'm saying? So that player coming out, I think the way it was sold, what it was like, this is going to revolutionize the music industry. You know what I'm saying? This is going to allow the tools that today's producers need, and something to that effect. It was something like that. That was kind of his thing. So now when Serato, and I'm familiar with Serato, the whole DJ apparatus and situation. I'm like, it's natural. I always assumed that you could do it, but I'm assuming the way that it is built out now, it's so to the point where you really are in control of each track and each detail of a song. You could really like break it apart and then keep it as pieces, correct? Or something like that.
yeah. Whoa, man. I might even just buy this just to mess with it. Like, even if I'm on the go.
Come on,
Like,
baby. Come on, man. Devil in a new dress.
add effect, real time loops, generate any song into a stem, any song into.
See?
Yeah, this
Crazy,
is,
right?
yeah. Huh. And I remember thinking it was a joke.
Yeah, I remember looking into it and early reviews of it. I mean, people were saying, "Oh, it's funky, it's janky," but I mean, there wasn't really anything solid. So either not enough units, or he wasn't able to fulfill. And I don't know if it was just one of those. As you start to see now in the resume of what he's done, you're like, "Damn!" If you really think about this, if this legacy sustains forever, how long?
I feel
Those
like
things are
it's
going to be
not
worth
even.
millions.
I feel like, yeah, like this is just, you should just get it just to keep it as like, hey, this is what happened, and like kind of like if you had the original NPC or whatever, like this is a revolutionary everything. Even though software does a lot of stuff, it looks like it was already in there. I I remember seeing it, and I remember people joking around with it. It was like a toy.
Like it was cheap, cheaply
I mean, there's a
made.
part of me where I feel like this is way more valuable than $200 that they're asking for.
Boom.
But there it looks like there's a Stem 3 projector, bright, portable, immersible. What is this? A summon a cinema anywhere project at the touch of a button. Play movies, STEM music, and art from the palm of your hand.
Let's see.
Very, very,
We're moving
very
this way. Follow Kanye, bro.
well. First of all, like, love him, hate him. I always tell people he's the most influential person. He's more influential than Jay-Z in my opinion, but like people
Easily.
will fight that. Like, being influential doesn't mean you have to be rich.
Yeah, they got
You
the
know,
whole Jay Z thing messed up. They got to go deeper. Those people who think Jay Z's, I don't think they really know the story, or at least the different narrative of it. Which is he's great and all, but it was an interesting time in hip hop. Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah, I'll probably cop a couple of these, bro.
yeah. So I'm like,
See, crazy, right? Because right when you said it last week, I was like, that sounds eerily familiar. I was curious to know if it was a handheld or something to that effect. So when you said it was a Serato thing, I was like, well, I'm familiar with Serato, like the program DJing, and I already assumed it did it, but I was like, huh, I wonder if that's related to the Kanye thing, and if that's
Mhm.
still out. And I was like, oh, because I found that very
It,
fascinating because I was
it,
looking at
it
getting
looks like
some
it
equipment
is.
myself.
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, well, let me just. I mean, I'll just. I don't know what the cost is, but I'll be like, boom, got it. Yeah,
Oh, you already know what it is in the future. That's what I'm
reserve.
saying.
I'm like,
Find all the Kanye shit you can find. Because think about his stop at Gap, his stop at Nike, his stop at Adidas, whatever other collabs he did, as his infamy and fame continue to grow. There's a lot of stuff that's implanted in history, embedded in it, and he's a part of a lot of those things at a certain time. And musically, I mean, to me, huge fan. Come on, man.
no, I mean,
Devil
like
in a red
he's,
dress, bro. Oh man.
he isn't the main reason because I'd probably say it starts from Dr. Dre. Maybe Dr. Dre and some a little bit of like Jay Dilla and some other old school producers. But when I was like a young adult in my early 20s, and I actually, I think I've said this before, but I'll probably reiterate it. Uh, like I didn't like Kanye when I first heard him. Right, I was like, this guy, whatever, hella cocky, and but most people will say about him. Then I was like, all right, whatever. My friend Alex, actually our friend T Dow,
Dow. How you like me now?
me to listen to the college dropout,
Boom.
and I'm like, whoa, he has Common, he has this person on here, he has this person on here, what?
Talib? What?
Live right, like two words, United States, no love, no like, come on, like that first album, right? And I'm like, what? And then I started to do, the old Google search, aka Ask Jeeves search back in the day.
As Jeeves.
As Jeeves or I used to Yahoo it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to
Uh,
info seek or lycos it.
exactly. Like, so I went back and did that, and I started to realize this dude made majority of the beats I liked during that time, from H to the Izzo, right?
Yeah.
To I don't know if it was My Block. I think it was. And he did some
I mean, yeah.
other ones too, but what's it?
Yeah, dilated peoples.
Yeah, Dilated Just to Get By. He did that one.
Yeah, Slum
He did You
Village.
Don't Know My Name. Dun, dun,
Oh
dun,
yeah,
dun.
man.
Like what?
Ooh. Today I
Yeah.
said, dude, come on,
Yeah.
man. Common like
What?
water for chocolate. I think that was his. Who else?
No, didn't do anything on Like Water for
Oh
Chocolate.
no, no,
Actually,
no.
a lot
The
of
one
Like Water
before.
for Chocolate was Jay Dilla,
Yes.
which I did.
Or what was the album after?
Uh, well,
Uh,
the one he did mostly this after I knew who he was B, because you had not Aquemini, what was the other one? You had, I think it was Soul Aquarius or whatever,
oh yes, 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 yes.
right? And that was more of his, Erica Badu, uh, juices.
Yes,
Got them
yes.
all messed up, but I mean, it's a different album for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
dude. Kanye, man. He's something else, man. It's cool to live in the time of it. Music is good. He's got some good stuff.
oh
He's got
man,
some goodies, man. I'm telling you, I listen to that album at least once a week, bro. Start to
which
finish.
one?
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
Oh, that's not music. That's like
Ugh.
beyond music to me. Like I
Seriously,
tell people,
bro.
I tell
I might be
people
going
like, I
to
don't know how
yeah, operas need
something
to get
else.
on that.
Yeah, it's just it's
Yeah.
not it's just, to me it's something else, right? It's just like it's not. No, I used to say it's not rap. It's like it's a classic beyond music thing.
Oh,
There's
for
certain albums
real.
like that. Like I feel that are like that.
You know what we should do on the day it was dropped? We should listen to it together and do one of them listening things. Just like track to track, like, they just talk about like feelings and thoughts, and then I right, move on to the next one and be like,
As far as what
every
as the which
so,
one?
that album, just that album alone, because I share that same sentiment about that album, bro. It is Ooh, that needs to be written
That
into
was
stone
the
tablets, bro.
that was the peak of my probably. Nah, I wasn't physical, but I was like at the peak where I was like getting like heavy into the music, about to graduate from junior college, right?
Mm.
That's a really large turning point of my life, and that album was like I would listen to it every day going to American River College, trying to um with my CD player, right? Trying
Oh,
to like, get through school, work, and the reserves. You know what I'm saying? Like just exhaustion. But then I was still trying to go out there and club a lot, you know.
Young Time, 2010, released November 22nd, 2010. Crazy. That was a crazy time in the world. Come on, man. It was like a new world, basically. That's like coming, or is that mid recession, or is that coming out recession?
That is,
That was a special time.
I was gonna say that was mid recession.
Okay, see,
Man,
mid.
okay, November. So I felt like it was, man, I was off, but I felt like it was 2011. But you know, November going into 2011, I
Oh
feel like
yeah,
it was
you're right there.
2011. You know what I'm saying?
It was
Like,
what?
that's how much I played that.
2011 special, bro. The only NBA 2K I play is 2K11. I don't play any other 2K.
I think we talked about that, right? Because
Yep.
2K11 was the one I was like, oh, I really love this one.
I'm stuck on that one. Like I haven't I tried 12 up to 14, 15. I was like, nah, dude, it just ain't got the same. It ain't got the same mechanics. It ain't got the same gameplay. It's more equal. It's just a lot of little details, bro. See, and 2011 is just like I mean, even Madden 2011. I think I still rock that one. Or I played 2019 a little more just because the Niners were good. But something about
Right.
2011, man. That especially, or well, 2010. So that era, that was an interesting time. I
Either
think that was the world being reintroduced to us. You know what I'm saying?
it was either 11 or 12 because I like because 12 was just a remix of 11 with Jordan on there too, like that back to back Jordan ones.
Yep.
And 11 was where Jordan first came back.
Boom.
It was the one when he can use his likeness.
Yep. Finally, and it was clean.
Yeah, everybody was like, "What?"
The Jordan collection. Oh, come on, man.
Let's
Shouts
see.
out to
And 13,
2K11.
I think 13 was the one I was gonna get, and it came because it was like next gen one, I believe. No, that wasn't it, was it? Because when did the Xbox One X come out? Oh, so that was September 12th. So it was
16?
2014. It
Oh,
was
14,
one,
14.
yeah. And that one I was like, okay, we gotta wait.
Mm. Once it became a monopoly on both sides, I'm like, oh, man, these aren't even competitive anymore.
Right, right. Like Matt, like right now. I didn't it's funny because I was just on my Xbox and I was like, all right, let me check this out. And I saw Madden was um skip music is finally moving to the main zone notification. Okay, I saw that Madden was on there and I saw the players like reviews for it, and I'm like, I don't even remember seeing a review for Madden coming out.
Yeah. It's not as big as it was before, man. At least to me. But I'm like a mid guy. I'm a boring person, so I'm just like I'm a casual everything.
I mean, that's like honestly, it's like it's weird because like there's a new game coming out. That's ooh yeah, Metacritic gave it a 66. So like Madden just terrible. Honestly, it's just like the NFL allowing only one person to do that is fucking dumb. Now, 2K is kind of different because EA has not they have not made a good live, and so they haven't even put it out. Like that's not
Yeah.
the NBA. It's they did not like
It's
2K was so
just
dominant that live has not really did anything to upgrade it. And there's been always
so
talk like
crazy.
the new live is supposed to do this, but it
I used to
hasn't.
love live, dude. Live the diagonal way, live in 93 or 94. Whenever it was the
Yeah.
Warriors that had Tim Hardaway, Spreewell, Mullen, Weber, and I think Billy Owens all in the same squad.
Well,
Oh
it
my
was it was
god.
NBA Showdown in '94.
Oh, showdown was tight. Because there was that cheat where you could do a 3-pointer underneath the it was like Curry range now.
Yeah,
But back
yeah. I
then
remember
you
you using
pulled
a lot.
down
Yeah, use
or
that a
some
lot. I'm
weird shit
like,
like that.
dude, no, that was the one where you
Yeah.
and
That
I
was
were
cool.
playing because before that it wasn't even live. It was whoever won versus whoever. like Bulls versus Blazers, Lakers versus Bulls,
Oh, those are the good ones. Yeah, those were
right?
good too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I loved it because they had on that game, if I recall, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What I liked about it was that players had specialty moves in certain areas.
Hmm.
So like Charles Barkley coming down the lane, once he got by the free throw, he did his monster dunk, which was unstoppable. And then like
Yeah.
he had his like fadeaway that was unstoppable. Larry Bird had his like either turnaround three or something unstoppable. I don't know what Magic's was unstoppable, but I just remember those other guys. You know,
Yeah. I don't know if Magic
and they
had
had like
one.
huh?
I don't know what Magic was. I forget. Yeah, I don't remember what Magic Super was.
Bulls versus Lakers. That so the Bulls versus Laker one though was one I was like, that's the one right there.
Oh, really? I was Bulls versus Blazers.
Well, once again, I'm a Laker fan, so that one stood out a little bit more.
I need to play that one because I'm assuming the engines are very similar. But I did like the left to right style of play, and it's a little choppy, but it was kind of dope. It did involve a little more skill there, and yeah, the superstars, their moves were highlighted, so it was kind of cool. Like the Brad Daugherty dunk from the free throw line, Karl Malone with the, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I was like, oh snaps. That was a good time. That was a good time. See, and that's what we, talk about that era too. It's like, man, that was when we were like fifth, sixth grade,
dude, yeah, and I do
fourth,
remember
fifth,
because
sixth.
what
Yeah.
I definitely remember us either playing 94 or 95 because what happened was we would and I can say we're wrong. I don't know if it was 94 or 95, but you're playing with the Warriors and I think you would sub out someone and put Billy Owens as a starter because we're like he's actually a better player, but he wasn't the starter.
Uh huh.
You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
we would be
yeah.
like we're like no, this dude's like actually better.
God, that feels 78 and he's on the bench, bro. My center is only like 57. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
and
bro.
we're like, what is going on? And because I think that was it's kind of actually now that I say this right, where we're at in basketball about positionless things, and it's like no, you just put the best person where they need to be, right? Like, so what if it's not you put him? He was a power forward, but we move him to the center. And then what I used to hate was because it wasn't a center, right? And if you didn't turn off automatic sub, which also sucked because if you how tired they were, if you didn't take off automatic sub, they'll automatically take him out because he wasn't a center.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah, the default was auto sub because nobody ever subbed out. And then you just kind of follow whatever, but then you put a guy in and then after the tip, foul. Man, what? I just
Yeah,
put
and
him
then
in
you
the
have to go in there
game.
like, hold on, then you do something like throw the ball out of bounds on purpose just to get him back in.
Yeah, got to make a turnover just to fucking get him back in the game.
Yeah,
Come on, man. That's how much the NBA and the rules were just so against it until, I mean, that's just how the game's played now.
but it's weird because it's like a lot of the things that were video game esque, where you go back to the art imitates life was like how many times we would rather it was either threes or twos. I mean, I think it was either NBA 2K 11 or 12. It was one of them where I created like had to be probably 13, but it was one of them where I created like I created a player, and how I started him off was I started him off like Ray Allen, and then he was shooting threes. And I maxed out his threes, and then I would max out his dunk. So,
Mm.
and then what happened is I traded Chris Paul because his specialty was if he passed it to someone, right? And this is how I got my player better. So I had him have a good three. But what I'll do is I'll make sure Chris Paul had the ball,
Mm.
and then Chris Paul would throw it to the guy, to my player, and that was almost an automatic three. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
Because Chris Paul was
smart.
offensive. Yeah, so
Yes.
and so that's what I would do. I'd always put Chris Paul to give it to my player, which Chris Paul would have like 12 assists or 15 assists a game, but then I would like have my player have like 30, and so that would
Mm.
like level up his game faster for those points.
So you're saying the Warriors are going to win this year with Chris Paul?
I don't know about that, but
According
I
to
don't know
your
about that.
story, it feels like he's going to average at
I
least
mean,
10
he's
assists, and Curry's going to average 40 points this year.
well. Now you can put Curry. Now you can put Curry in
Off
what I
ball.
believe is his true position. You know,
The
yes,
Iverson position.
he is a point guard, and he can create because his threes are so deadly.
Yeah.
He can create. assists for other people, because he runs around in circles and shit. No, because
Nobody ever uses the
he's
court
like,
like that, dude.
no, I mean he's I mean honestly he's a lot like Nash, but
Uh-huh.
Nash pass first.
Yes, pass first. Yeah.
Like Nash would actually pass first, but Nash would
Yeah.
also do dumbass passes too.
True.
But that's where he came from at that time. Curry was
Yeah.
always like Curry was never a point guard. Point guard.
No.
He was always shoot the three.
Yeah, shoot the
Or
three. Yeah.
even like because it's actually funny like that statement came up sometime last week. Like you know, Curry is the best point guard, and I'm like, well, yes, for today, right? And in today's how the game is played today, you would have to say yes,
Mhm.
right? And there's every evolution, but how I grew up, I wouldn't say he was
Uh,
because he's more of a one of the best guards because he shoots well, right? And then someone put it like, well, if you made an all team, would you have Curry or Magic? And most people say, yeah, I'd have Curry over Magic because he can shoot his threes. He's so great at threes, right? He's so great at threes that it overlooks everything else he does. Okay,
mm,
like it's not the. I mean, he can pass well, but he's not the best
I get what you're
assist.
saying.
Not
Yeah.
the best. He's not the best on ball defense.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't really rebound a lot, but he is the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, and it's like not even close to how deadly it is. That it completely offsets everything.
I think he's like Iverson, to be honest, with a three.
When you look at it, like if there was a person that was more like Magic to me, it was LeBron, but he was like more of an
LeBron's like
athletic.
Magic.
LeBron to me was like a Jordan, Magic, and Shaq, right? Like he had the
Yeah,
athleticism
that's a good one.
and the overall basketball IQ. Not to sit there and say the other guys didn't, but basketball IQ of knowing where people were at, like Magic,
Yeah.
like
He's the
like
first
one of
creative
the
player,
yeah,
the
you
first one
know,
ever to be like real or
if only at like the three like Larry Bird, he'd be so like there'd be undisputed on how great he was. You know what I'm saying?
see. Larry Bird's legacy is his knack for clutch, scoring, shooting. Right.
Larry,
That's his thing.
I'll be honest with you, man. I
Oh, here we
hated
go. Here
Larry.
we go.
I hated Larry Bird.
Triggered.
No, not no trigger because like I hated him, right? However, after watching
Winning.
the winning time, right? And then after watching even the when the game was ours with Larry and Magic, right? There's a part of me was like, I start to like Larry more.
Mm.
Like the 27 points wouldn't back down from anybody. Defense. His grit was different, man, for that time. Like it'll break. I mean, it was like what it was, but he was like gritty, talk shit, will choke someone at the same time or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to say, wait, was it him? Was it him or he was pointed? I want to say
Kareem.
him and Julius Irving got into
Oh,
it,
Irving
and
got
like
into it. Yeah.
I think Julius Irving had his hand around his neck,
Yeah.
and Bird like this didn't back down. In today's society, I probably would like him more.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say that Magic's my favorite player of all time.
Mm.
You
Can't
know,
have one without the other, dude. That's what's
can't have
cool
one
about
without the
them.
other. However, the more and more I'm getting older, I'm overlooking like as much as I love, I still I will never take away Magic. Right, just one of the best court visions mismatch player that you can never have. Right, um, but the more and more the older I get, I'm just getting to the point where I'm just like I'm probably sounding old curmudgeon. I was like, no, I don't want that. I want people to fucking to do their work and kill you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do work, son.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm veering off on some certain things, but it's like I'm watching basketball now and coaching has changed my way of thinking where I'm like, I don't know if I like the basketball culture anymore.
Mm.
It's a lot of like flash, no substance and crossover, whatever. Just like I like people who want to just who do the gritty stuff and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, when you do something amazing, that like okay, I want a Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Kawhi Leonard who does work, boom, 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 and few off. When you know he's excited, he'll have that burst of like like that, opposed to like actually, or rather have right now Anthony Edwards type player. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
Edwards is nice with it too.
Not a John Moran. I want Edwards.
But see, the NBA to its detriment. See, this is where you can make an argument for both sides, I think. As now, have we seen the NBA? What are they, 75 years plus or around there?
Yeah.
Okay, 75 years, right? They have a body of work now in terms of, the brand of basketball. It's an entertainment league, it's a foundation, it's a nonprofit, organization. It's not it's just a foundation. It's a, just so looking at the history.
Deep inside. Pause.
Oh man, hell, I forgot. Lost my thought now. God damn it. No, I
Did
had it.
I say
I had it in
something
my
to get
mind.
you off? Did I say something to
No, 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 no. No, I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, I lost it. Just the thought just flew away. Oh, I had it in my mind though. Go ahead. You were
battle?
saying Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. You're
I
talking
like him
about how
today.
it lost it. It's lost its way. It's part to the detriment of the NBA.
Ah, there
Like,
you go. Okay. Yeah, because okay, in the when we were growing up, the NBA was not making money. That's what we
mhm.
understand, at least in today's standards, right? Okay. But that's also the era credited with kind of old school ball. I mean, it's not necessarily the best athletes, obviously, because it wasn't the best money, so it doesn't garner the best athletes. Once the money goes up, best athletes come through. That's kind of how, I think sports in the world or anything that's high output money. Once athletic people get in, it's
Mhm.
trying to change the dynamics. Um, but yeah, the NBA, it's like, okay, it goes from that to where I think the torch from Magic and Bird, and understand Magic and Bird are under the same shoe deal. Like
Converse. Yeah.
everybody's under Converse. It's like that's
At
so
that time, yeah.
strange. Yeah, so that means NBA ain't really making, that kind of money yet, or it's not an entertainment brand.
Mhm.
But then the Jordan years kind of opened up something, and then that influenced the kids playing. And like you were saying, it's like, yeah, man, that kind of brand of basketball, it's cool, and I think it's good for like highlights. The way we consume entertainment now, like even for me, if I don't catch a game, I'll just catch clips, and obviously, they'll clip up the most, you know, crazy play or outlandish shot or something like that. It won't be some sequence play that just works out beautifully, unfortunately, because those are the little details in the game that if you're a fan of basketball in that manner, it appeals. And I think, like what you state, there's a lot of that missing, where if you watch a game start to finish, it's missing a flow, it's missing a certain style of execution, and uh it seems a little more sloppy, I guess. It's not as maybe crisp as it once was, maybe, or you
Yeah,
know
well, yeah, I think it's funny because like you said, the more money, the better athletes, and I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to say that because we don't know where the athletes gone. But I will say, the more money, the better training, the better other things get invested into it. If that
mm,
makes sense, I can't because I feel like those players who played, like even the good athletes, still would have tried to make some money at that time.
mm.
Opposed to like I don't know what they would have been doing with the big sport. Maybe it was football, but
I think
just
at
saying,
that
maybe
time
baseball. Maybe it
either
was baseball.
baseball was making a lot of loot. There's a lot more. I mean, not a lot more, but there was a black presence in baseball back then for sure. At least more prevalent. Bay Area sports for sure. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I
like
mean,
Dusty Baker, Bonds, Rod Stewart, all
that's
or
all hard.
yeah, Dave
Like
Stewart.
it is different times because there is a part where I'm like, well, I don't know if they need more blacks in baseball, but I think they need more swag in baseball. They need more freedom in baseball. Because Otani's fire, right?
Oh yeah,
And I mean, like, I'm glad baseball finally was like, yeah, go ahead and flip the bat. People hate that.
yeah. They got
Like
to ease up somehow.
you
They
have
got
to
to
because you have
evolve.
to. You need to because what you're only for a particular set of people, right? And you're also missing out a subsection of people who are really into the flair.
True.
and the flair is going to put you on the billboards.
Mhm.
Now, unfortunately, I mean, and once again, I relate it to hip hop culture, but it doesn't even go from hip hop culture. You can go to dance or whatever, right? Like,
All
right, like
things.
it's dance is all pink, purple, very bright lights and stuff like that, right? Like you look at all that and people love that. Like even soccer players at times. Like first of all, I wanted to say that when I see soccer players, they're probably some of the most well dressed men I've ever seen in any sport, right? They have their own flair when because they're balling, you know. So baseball has to make it more appealing worldwide to everyone. I mean, baseball is, but it's like it feels like in America, it's like there's only a couple people I know that watch baseball.
That's true. I mean,
In a particular set of people, I'll say that. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
definitely. It's not the audience. At least I would say it like this. It's not the audience that's perceived in your local area. If there is a big audience, it's in a place that's not accounting for bigger cities. I think a lot of where maybe the pull of the narrative comes from is like bigger occupied areas. And then it's more of a general consensus. And I think in that regard, they're doing that. But then it's almost like because baseball's so long and their TV contracts and where their like teams are, you know what I'm saying? It's like you run that many games and you just have a tradition of things. That's one of the oldest sports. So their fan base is their generations in. So they have a base. And then I think their their following and their popularity goes like this,
Yeah, I
but
mean, because when I was young, and I feel like it happened for a while, and they broke it. Let's just be honest, like the steroid era bumped up baseball for a while.
the best era. Come on, big league
Sammy
chew, baby.
Sosa,
Come on, man.
Sammy Sosa, and Mark were home run hitting. The Barry Bonds. I feel like when Barry Bonds broke it, it was in 2001 or something like that. That's when
Yeah.
it was kind of going on the downswing. It was still good, but that was when it was going on like
Oh
a
man.
downswing popular for everyone. But I say that to, and now granted, I'm just talking my ass on this. However, some of that was leading up. Before that was leading up when you had fucking the greatest to never have happened, King Griffey Jr. when he was in there hitting the way he hit,
Mm.
going to home run derbies with the backwards hat, and people hated that because he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna wear my shoes this way, and I'm gonna do it my way." But he was still respectable. It was just he was just like the hat, kind of backwards hat culture.
Yeah.
He was still a hip hop dude.
It seems like there's a flavor for everybody. I think that's what baseball figured out, and then the other sports replicated its success. I think the idea is to get more power into the owners, less power into the players. I think that's the seesaw there that we see always play out in the outside drama away from the court and the field is ownership versus, players union, which is union represent, players versus owners essentially. And
Yeah,
then it's kind of like, well, the fans, who are you with? And they always kind of draw you into the drama with that and understanding why players just jet and leave teams and, the AAU theory and, basketball not being a loyal thing. And it's a very big money making business now. Players have maybe too much power, not enough, not getting paid
yeah. I
enough.
mean, yeah. There's that part where I feel like it's like there's a part where I'm like, cool. I'm glad you have power. Or like honestly, it's like cool. But then there's abuse of power on both sides. Like, come on, dude. You can't sit here and act like you don't, everything got to go your way or whatever. And some of that really goes back to after watching Winning Time, goes back to the Magics, go back to Michael Jordan. Remember Michael Jordan at his retirement speech said the players made the team as well. He didn't want to go too far and say the players make the team,
Mm-hmm.
but he put that in there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Coming from him, that's big.
He was the one that
That's
was
a
like,
ripple
nah,
effect. The great one has
had a problem
spoken.
with it. Yeah, it was known that he had an issue with the GM.
Oh
You know,
yeah, the later years. Yeah, the last dance.
yeah, it was already known that he had that for a while, and still to this day, like people kind of clown him. Even though he did a bunch of great stuff, people clown him, and he doesn't have a place to say. It's like they still try, like, "Oh, he was stupid and never made it again because he did this for Michael Jordan." Well, remember, this is the same guy that got Michael Jordan. This is the same guy that put Phil into place. This is the same guy that somehow got Scottie Pippen.
You put it all together. He's the architect, man. But he
And
has to
then
be
the
the
same guy
downfall.
that ended up getting Dennis Rodman to come onto the team to make the greatest single season ever. You know,
Ever.
and that's kind of funny because that's not. I don't even think that's the greatest Michael Jordan we've seen. You know, like 90, 91, 92, 93, Michael Jordan was probably some of the best Michael Jordan you ever see. Yes, he scored 37 a game or whatever, but the most effective and dominating ones were in 91, 92, 93. So just
Yeah.
imagine you came back and you had like someone who always talk shit saying that got Michael Jordan's brick shots. But anyway, that's basketball. But like on baseball, like I definitely think, and I'm pretty sure they're doing this, they need to start leaning more on the Afro Latino expression. You
Dude,
know,
have
like
you
this.
watched the World Baseball Classic this past year?
I just you mean for the kids, or you talk about
No,
the little league one?
the big league, like the professional players.
No, I haven't.
Oh, just watch the highlights, bro. You'd be like, this shit looks live as fuck.
Yeah, because with I'll watch it, but I'm assuming if you're leaning towards that, because one of the things I started noticing is that well, Latin music is huge because I don't forget how to say the percentage of the world that speaks Spanish, but
Yeah.
so many do, right? But when you get into the Afro Latino, which has this like all Latinos have their flair, but once you get into the Afro Latino, it has like a little bit of like hip hop flair, a little bit of they have a particular flair to them that's even different from
All the other ones.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's a lot of difference. Yeah,
But
I think.
like
Yeah.
boastful kind of like they still have I mean sounding kind of racist, but they kind of like have African American swag with a little bit of the Latino swag, you know what I'm saying?
It's fascinating to see him on display. I agree with you through baseball because it's a passionate sport, especially the World Baseball Classic is cool because they break up into countries. So you really get to
Mm-hmm.
see who's who. Like, here's the Mexican players, here's the Venezuelans, here's the, Puerto Ricans, here's the Mexico, here's the United States, here's Canada, Japan. So I mean, it was intense and it was cool because there was really loopy, lackadaisical, like funny but really good baseball. And then the last game was classic USA versus Japan, and it was a great one. And it
Really?
was Otani, Trout was the final out. Like that's how crazy it was. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like how
So even
that's how
within that,
scripted that shit is.
well, I was gonna say, scripted. I was gonna say, but even like, because it always seems like, well, okay, let me clarify that because when everybody looks at like Dominican or Latin Afro Latino people for baseball because they're usually good, right? But I'm surprised that they weren't in it. But it still seems like US is hella good at baseball, like super good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Only because
But
the
it's
talent
different,
pool is
right?
huge. The talent pool is huge here. Like there's just so many people playing. Where I think in a lot of the other countries, they're still more or less developing countries in that aspect, but through the years they've gotten better. Just like how NBA foreign players are. Same idea. Like the
Oh yeah, I
influx
mean
of
like that's
Europeans and things. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's all within the same. It's kind
it's
of
actually
been
kind of
in,
funny you
yeah.
said that because watching some of the FIBA Olympics, like the highlights of it, right? I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm watching a lot of the players that are representing different countries, right? And most of the ones that are playing the NBA, they're here, but there's some that I'm like okay, so like Karl Anthony Towns is representing Dominica, right? But
Dominican Republic.
it's like you hear him. He grew up in New Jersey. He did all these things. So it's like it's kind of weird because it's like, oh, he has his history from there, but he like grew up in America, so he goes there to represent. Just like in the Philippines, it's kind of funny how many. It sounds really bad when you see the Philippines. It's like, damn, there's a lot of black people. Like hey, that's why I always joke around Filipinos and blacks. But you have what you call it playing for it. It was like I know you have history there, just because like I know you have history there, but it's like, did you grow up in the Philippines?
Hell no, I'm
No.
American as fuck, man.
Yeah,
Born here, raised here. That's what I was like. It's
but
one
there's
of
a
those
lot of
things,
people.
man.
No, in fairness, like let's not forget in 1996, Hakeem Olajuwon got his American citizenship and played for America.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's not a
You'll
get.
see
Oh,
that
but
too. Yeah, you'll see that too with certain players. Like certain players are like Cuban born, but then represent Mexico. You know what I'm saying? As a citizen of Mexico and shit. So it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of how you learn about, kind of citizenship.
I also
That's
think
an
sometimes it's
introduction into
people.
it. Say what?
I also think it's also people like, how can I say it? There are people who want to participate representing the country, and they may not make the country that they're on, so they'll play for a different country. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
some
I know
of
what you're
it is
saying.
like,
It's like regular
I
teams.
can, I have an opportunity to represent and play in this thing. I'm gonna play for this country because that's where some of my naturally I wouldn't make this team though. Like technically Kyrie Irving could play for Australia. I believe that's what they said
Yeah.
at citizenship.
Yeah, man, all that is just pick up basketball, just put the team names as countries, and then try to switch around and finagle it. Okay, how about this? Make believe time. If you could redo the
Yeah.
NBA in any way, shape, or form, how would you do it?
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify it. Yeah, Kyrie Irving was born in Melbourne, Australia, so
Boom,
he could have represented Australia.
with Hugh Jackman
Yeah, Australia.
and Crocodile Dundee.
He said his nationality is Australian American, Standing Rock Suez tribe.
Standing Rock. What is that? Arkansas or in
Hmm.
Melbourne?
It says South Dakota.
Oh, South Dakota. Okay, there you go.
I clicked on it, it says South Dakota.
So, what does
And
that
that's
indicate? Native American. What's up?
Native American. Yeah, I mean, yes, he talked
Black
because he brings that
people
up a
are
lot.
Native Americans. Black people are Native Americans. They fucked
My
us up.
friend, it's funny. Like just like my friend Jeff, who I just talked about, right?
Yeah.
He moved to Florida. And he said he looked it up, and he's actually a Seminole.
There you
He's
go.
like,
Living in
Seminole.
Florida, clearly.
Yeah, I'm a Seminole. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. It's like we don't know that, and so it's like, so if you talk to him, he'd probably be more on your level of thinking on stuff because he's like, I'm a sorry.
I know you could. No, for sure. See, that just goes to show, baby. Come on, man. Embrace it. It's in you, bro. It's in you, brother.
Which one? What's it mean?
Oh, the Native American stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure because my
Yeah.
grandma used to say it all the time.
There you
She said,
go.
yeah,
See, that's why
she,
them trying to take
that
away
like
Redskins
hair,
is horrible.
like black people can't have good hair. So if you have good hair, you're mixed with something else. So and she was like, yeah, that's where you get your good hair from. Indian, Native American. I probably should do the 23andMe, but I don't want. I mean, they already got my blood in their system because
That's true,
I
but
was
you ain't got to give them more. Anything
right.
you give them, though, just I mean, it says, who am I sending this to? He's going to somebody's house down the street. And who runs that lab? Have I met them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
where's it
right.
going? What the fuck y'all doing with
But,
it?
oh, he did this. I mean, they already got. Like I said, they already have me in
True.
the system.
But I ain't got to have no more then. I gave you enough already. That's enough. Go away.
No.
It's not like I just be making blood just on the side for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm born with only certain amounts, and I be trying to collect it and shit. But blood is blood. You know what I'm saying? Trying to
Yeah,
keep it in my body. It's how I need it too. So it'd be
I
nice.
need to. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need it for later.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
do we rechange the NBA to make it appealing or more better than what it is now?
Well, I mean, some people feel like it's gotten better because of parity. That there's
Okay.
more balance. I definitely think parity does matter more.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because if you have better teams all around, then it should level up the competitive nature.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put in more, less like have a certain level of guaranteed, but less guarantee, more performance based stuff. And I know they have some of that for All Star and first team or whatever, but it has to be a little bit more harsh. Um, I like I want player safety, but I also want them to know that they have to work hard for that. So there's like, because like I don't know how to fix it, but like I do feel like there's a level of entitlement in players and NBA players now. And with that entitlement, you're great and you're good or whatever, and you should be confident in yourself. But there's a cockiness that will feel like they can fill anyway. In a weird way, they are still given this opportunity by the NBA. They're still given this opportunity, and most of them, there's a lot of them that don't feel that way. At least American-born ones. You know what I'm saying? Because you hear people like, well, maybe Antetokounmpo's changing, but Antetokounmpo for a while was just like, I'm just happy to do this. You hear a lot of the other foreign players that are just very happy to have been able to play, come from where they're from, and I don't know how to fix that from the United States players, but there's this idea that everything is just owed to players. We talked about this before. That seems to be the American way right now. That they're entitled
Mm.
in general. There's an entitlement issue. I feel in the United States.
In terms of like what they're owed or what's due for them,
Yeah,
type of thing.
like
Mm.
I don't need to do. I don't know. It's like no, you work for every fucking thing you get, man.
Mm.
Like, and even when you get there, that can all go away without the proper work.
Mm.
But I just feel there's a lot of people that feel entitled. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, you see it differently, probably. Where
No,
you work.
it's just an idea. I'm just thinking. I've always, try to reconstruct those things sometimes as a goof in my mind, as a mental exercise to kind of just analyze the NBA like that. But I mean, I never really truly gave it thought. But as you were talking, I'm like, I think the incentivization, like, I'm trying to think about. Obviously, it's an entertainment thing now. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, I love the idea of it being uber competitive and this kind of passionate game of pride and glory and kind of the notes that were sung to a different generation once before, more of the era that we're more familiar with. Maybe that's us romanticizing it, but I think it was the right balance of money at the time in comparison to the world, probably for players. It was justified to a certain degree. It was harboring, great talent at that time. The players were coming in developed, 3-4 year college people. So there was some point in the system of college and basketball where they were harmonious. You're talking about getting ready to go prospects at 23, 24 coming in being able to really meld as a team where a contract like everybody analyzes Jordan or Pippen's contract from this, like that's so crazy, man, that ain't, they making peanuts compared to this and that, and it's like that was just of the time. But if you look at the brand of basketball in the NBA at that time, that's almost like Black Eyed Peas like first album and shit. Like, oh dude, this is like gold right here, like we got this guy and coming off just already great eras of basketball, but you got this other guy that's like, whoa, this is something different. And yeah, dude, just to kind of see, where, where it could go now, you're kind of like, okay, maybe more brands of basketball is necessary. If the NBA was smart, maybe it could have been a situation where big three and different brands of basketball would be introduced all year long, whether it's in the way of like a 3-on-3 competitive on the off season where Ice Cube got his thing.
Yeah, and you saw what you call it, play it right.
Yeah, Jalen Brown, right? Jalen Brown, is it Jalen Brown?
Jalen Brown.
Celtics, right?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, see, shit like that. So it's like the NFL does it great. They stay relevant most of the year somehow. They make their
mhm.
sport grand in a small amount of time. They're very efficient, and the players they can't really be very, in a powerful position in that structure right now, where NBA, less players, a lot more games, not as, thing. But in my head, I'm like, okay, it's either branch out more, have more brands of basketball, more opportunity, so you can filter through levels of competition, kind of like how soccer does it, where they're introducing, professional style, training and opportunities to kids at like 14, so you're kind of more or less getting them prepared and giving them the option and the look of what, professional sports is at that age going in, and then get them up to already pro leagues. So you already have a following, and that rabid following you see, in Europe with football teams or soccer teams out there. You're like, the NBA can facilitate that. And there is that to some degree, you know what I'm saying? But I think for players, there needs to be some level of either a flat and then all the money's incentivized just through winning, like old school. Like, all right, here's the money that's
Yeah,
put up,
yeah.
winner take all.
You have, actually, that is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all
And
right,
then it's
you all
just
have a
money
flat
stacks at
fee.
the end of the year. Like, all
Yeah,
right, top money earners play in the tournament, and then boom.
you average 25 points a game, which might cause people to be ball hogs. But if you average 25 points a game, shooting 40%, you get additional boom. Your team gets in the playoffs.
Yep.
You
Individual
know,
pots and then half pots, and
like
then
you
it's already a
play
betting
a
sport. So
minimum
you've
of
yep.
70 games, right? If you play 70 games, boom,
Mm-hmm.
more.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's incentivized because then now everybody it comes in at flat, and then you're just vying for opportunity, in your squads. And it depends. Like if it's
a
70
starter flat
game,
fee. It should
say
be
what?
a starter flat fee, a backup flat fee, because like, because I kind of think like, well, if you're a bench player and you get a million, like, how are you gonna get your opportunity if you don't get in there? You know what I'm saying?
But that's where you're,
Like,
at
I guess
practice.
that's where you have to force yourself to get better on the off season or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You stay
Okay, I'll
active.
take that back.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
I'll shut up.
saying? Yeah,
I'll
where
shut
you
up.
could produce because this is high leverage game. This is high money game. Because I'm assuming, when players are in the off season and they have those runs, I'm assuming some of them runs there's some money involved. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much, but players probably betting on some crazy shit like 10
What
G's, I hit
what
10 right
what
now.
if
Like
what if it's like, if you don't average over 7 points a game in 3 seasons, you get 3 seasons to do it, you're out of the league and you have to build your way back up into it.
oh, dude, I think they should just redraft every year, like fantasy draft. Like, all right, reshuffle. Some players stick together or whatever. But see, the GMs, that's where it's like either player coach or we do celebrities, for entertainment value, like old school coaches, like memory coaches, or, something to the effect where every year you could kind of season it out. Or you have, long term and you really dabble into the teams and you really dig in and just like, all right, cool. Now we setting up a triple A, a double A, a single A, where you're gonna start seeing players develop as early as 14 and you can follow their career all the way till they
I would
come
love
up to
that.
the
I would
bigs.
definitely love that in America, because like there's a lot of times where, like, you have people and they're like, well, this person is so much better. This is why foreign players are better. Well, they're able to play pro ball
Pro ball.
against
Paid.
like adults.
Paid.
So if you're good, you're gonna learn. It's like the iron sharpens iron.
Sharpen. Yep, exactly. See, so
When
that
this
I
is
think
good.
there's a valley there. I think there's a road there. So I think if you come in flat and it's all incentivized, you know what I'm saying? You put an emphasis on the stuff that players are always worried about, or um, kind of like unions are. It's like medical stuff and kind of the other things that are unforeseen. Put a bigger emphasis on that, and just have it more like a flat, and then it's just all incentive plus the pots that go into the actual game itself. And it's just money. So you're just stacking money. So maybe 70 games might even be necessary. Like maybe it's better to play less with bigger money on the prize and then more massive tournaments. So,
Well, I mean,
open runs, open rosters.
they have a mid-season tournament coming up this year. So we'll
I
see how
want to
that
see how
works.
that works. I think that's a cool idea. I'm curious to know how the players take it because I think it's that weird threshold shit, right? Especially the NBA because they're talking about 82 games and then the whole Popovich and resting players. It's like, all right, where's the
I don't.
good medium at? You know what I'm
But
saying?
remember too, after watching Last Dance, I mean, they kind of did that with Jordan, right? They did minutes restrictions. They did this stuff to try
Yeah,
to sit him. Like it started before,
rest them.
you know.
Yeah.
It just that Popovich was the one, because people blame the coaches or players, but it was kind of Popovich that did this, you know. And I'm not mad. It's just he was the one who's like, oh,
No,
we're gonna, you
player
know,
management, smart.
yeah.
You get players
Like,
for 20 years. San Antonio was able to experience, like the fans were able to experience long term success with the core trio of people. And that's a cool experience for a small market like that. So that's good for the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
it didn't work out for them, and Kawhi Leonard was like, I'm not healthy, and they're trying to force him to come back, you know.
Oh, not the
Like,
Spurs way.
because I mean, because in fairness, right? In fairness, like, there's a couple people that came back, right? So you had Derrick Rose, he came back
Oh, D Rose, baby.
injury, right?
Yeah.
Wild to come back, right? In fairness, Isaiah Thomas, you know,
Yeah.
came back injured, did all this stuff, ruptured leg or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
didn't get even the dude didn't even get his cash. He didn't even get his
Nope. Didn't get
fucking
paid.
fuckload. He got fucked on that shit
Yeah.
trying to do that. So there's that part where I understand part of it, and there's a part where I'm like, no, you paid. Now it's time for you to show up and not always complain about everything you're doing. You know,
Yeah. See,
isn't that,
that's
and,
why
and again,
flat cash, dude. Flat cash is the way to go, man. Like base salary, just something livable, something hella like manageable, like 75 G's. Oh, well, that's not even livable. Everything else, like you're going into games, and each game you split pot. Like it's just one and done. So you're just getting stacks. So if you scoring, like if you Isaiah Thomas, like however the teams formulate, whatever, and you as a bench player, you got opportunity, and one game you went off 40 and shit like that, your take is percentage based on contribution. So if you doing your thing, you get in the high pot. People who got results get money like that. You know what I'm saying? More money, more thing.
so it's a percentage, and then you also deduct points for turnovers.
Yeah, I mean that's where you get the statistics from.
Okay.
The plus minuses, all that. That's where it becomes useful. I mean, think about it. You got all these betting apps, right? You keep basketball in the loop somehow. NBA has its hands in everything. All those weird, or not those weird, but all those cool commercials they have where they're in the neighborhoods. We put a basketball here, basketball arena here, a hoop here. For the kids out here. Opportunity, dude. That's where break it up. Like there should just be follow the NFL route. 15, 20 games, like super big, like big money, big talent games. Everything else, some mini leagues here, some players kind of go around off and on in the radar. There's just so much going on. You just see kind of players kind of spread out everywhere, older players, younger players in different leagues. Keep it all year long, and then it just keep it all money based. And then you just boom, all incentivized, stats based, and then you get better. No off season. You just have big money games, and then the rest of the time, if you're hustling, you're out there, hooping because everything could be recorded now. So if you're a player and you're like, yo, I'm on my journey to the end, or I'm on my journey to my stacks, I'm going to go make money and I'm going to be a brand. Isn't that what everybody's doing? Everybody wants to be their brand,
Yeah,
have my
everybody
shoe,
wants
have
to.
my following. NBA, you're kind of under the guise of the business.
Like I'm not. I mean, obviously these NBA players were once normal people until they weren't. Everybody's trying to be a brand. It's like, yo, this is my brand. I'm so, Jay-Z. I'm not a
Yeah.
business. I'm a business man. And now, good, bad, and indifferent. Most people want to do that.
And rightfully so. I mean, today you can't express yourself. I think, if you could do that and do all your other endeavors, I think it's amazing as an athlete. It's kind of like put up or shut up. That's where you kind of get your fans and you get your haters. You're like, man, this fool just be playing like thing all day, and then he goes in there and produces. But then also he's like, but hey, yo, check my other posts. Look what I'm posting right here. He's like just training every day in the morning. Like, yo, see, do I got to post this every day? Or y'all believe me? I do this every day. See, and then it becomes this whole, oh, I could follow my player. I could follow this dude, and that's kind of what it is. So I think where the NBA needs to, or the idea of the redone NBA would just be NBA World, NBA Global, like pickup games happen everywhere. Dudes just showing up. Remember the New York stuff, the entertainment basketball classic or league
Yeah,
or
that's what I
whatever.
was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say, right? You're talking about you have obviously Rucker Park, but then you're also talking about N1, right? But then what I was gonna say this a while ago was like when the N1 players felt like they got too big for N1 and was saying all this stuff about N1. Guess what happened to N1? They fell
Oh,
apart,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
true. That's true.
because now they were getting too greedy on their end. And I'm not saying they shouldn't get paid properly. Whoever's listening, I'm not saying don't pay people properly. But there's a point where it doesn't make sense for the people paying you more. Like I'll put it this way: if I'm the owner of the business and I'm paying you more than I make, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true. It
You
don't make
know,
sense.
it doesn't
That's
make
something
sense at all.
like it should just be, some kind of operating cost. I don't know the business of the NBA per se, but I mean, I look at something like the Drew League, right? And how Drew League's really popular for summer, and it's cool when stars show up. I just think the idea is like grand and how it's built its, kind of way to its, popularity. Something like that. I'm like
Park
that.
Park.
Yeah, Rucker Park. I remember that one where it was like, yo, I think Shaq's coming up. I think Diddy's got is like Diddy versus Fat Joe or Big Pun or something like, or Fat Joe, Terror Squad versus thing. And then they're like, oh, I heard Kobe's coming and this and that. And it was a spectacle, but it was dope because it was just kind of the entertainment side of it. And I think what we're seeing today is a mesh of and one and all that stuff that we grew up on. I think that's slowly kind of that idea is making its way into the NBA regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Because yeah, when you go on NBA Twitter and they're doing Drew League, that's kind of a crazy thing, right? And now you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing like and I mean more power to Drew League getting to where they're at. Now you're seeing like SeaTac or Seattle
Mm-hmm.
uh Ram coming up. And it's funny because I watch it and it don't seem like Drew League. Like Drew League is like is almost a whole other
It's a vibe.
dope ass league where it's like you have people balling out doing this stuff, but then they're also doing it with a purpose. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like N1 was all this crossing over or whatever. They're doing that. But this stuff, they're doing moves and they're just making buckets. Like no, it's like a kind of semi killer instinct. Like oh, okay, I'm gonna try to kill you out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like in the Drew League.
Mm-hmm.
You
There's some
know,
level of respect or
instead of like
aura. Yeah, there's a brand that they've developed that they allow. Like, all right, this is what
there's a
we
competitive
expect.
nature to it. While some of them seems like the other one is just the star just dropping hella points. While like Drew League is like stars are dropping points, but they're trying to actually go out. These other players are actually like,
Yeah.
nah, I ain't going back down from you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a good dynamic, man, because I think that's kind of that idea where a Drew League idea would be like, all right, we're gonna have this summer run, 10 games, winner take all, that this and that, load up the teams, and then it's just built out like a drama series, and then calls being made, and what's up? Can I get a run? How you in shape? What's up? We gonna practice? Like seeing teams form for
Yeah,
runs, that'd be ill, bro.
and the thing is like where I kind of like it is like when you watch it too, it's not like they're doing illegal plays like in N1.
Nope.
You know, they're doing
All
these things.
all straight up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
All
like straight
hooping.
up within the concept of basketball, how we grew up, but then like still show was still like out
Yeah.
there to kill someone. You know,
Shit you can't do in the
at
NBA
times,
during the game.
at times sometimes I'm like these summer league games look better than the NBA games.
Well, because you do something like that in a NBA game, you get like fined. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hard foul, $40,000. What kind of that's a lot of money. Like,
But at the
goddamn.
same time, kind of like what you said earlier, they're trying to preserve their players. You know, like
Yeah,
when you
see?
like imagine like
Well, because it is asset. You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah, no, it's like most people the more expensive something is, more likely you're gonna treat it better. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's very true.
Like
Very
fuck,
true.
man, this has cost me.
That's why you
You
gotta
know
have a balance,
what was
man.
that? What was that Chris Rock statement? Like
Which
it's
one?
not. We was talking about the bullets. He's like, not the you increase the bullet prices, right? Like that dude just put $25,000 in his chest. Like not gun control, bullet control. You know, if bullets were more expensive, people would think twice about it. It's like
Yeah,
shit.
that's
Go
true.
collect these shells, please. That was $25,000.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, bro. I think that would be a tremendous idea. Just on some, if we had to play shuffleboard with the idea of the NBA, I think that would be a cool idea. Because then, NBA Live could come back into the fold. 2K gaming would be cool, or it would be streamlined all the way, and then it would really be an online experience dual with, kind of basketball. Where you could just do we're doing this digital run where we're all going to be in the the sport ball suits, and then we're going to actually have people interacting, and then they're going to help set plays or just be interactive from a digital standpoint, some weird stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you could really test out a lot of that and allow the individual player to really build their following straight up from as early as 14, and just say there's a pro league that adopts it, like just something
I
like
mean,
Nike's gonna adopt we're adopting a 25 game league. This is purely foundation, purely nobody's getting paid all the proceeds and all stuff like that. And players will play that, just for like, oh, I did a
yeah.
run in there just to kind of what I'm
And
saying?
part about like the pro and the youngsters. Like, let's not forget, in our hometown, Sacramento has a 13-year-old boy playing soccer, pro soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, other sports do it, other things do it. Like for some reason,
They hold them back.
it's a big deal. Like, what is it? What do they say? Pro tennis players can be 16, but for some reason, when it comes to basketball or whatever, it's like, no, you should not do that.
Not until you're 21 or
Until you're
19, 20, 21. Yeah. It's silly. I mean, it's already happening. That's on like the
That
NBA needs to get on that. College could still be functional like that, but I think the more brands come out, it's better for the NBA in total. It allows, or if the NBA continues a brand, it'll be good for basketball in general. If if
One of
it's
the
to
best things
grow.
one of the best things the NBA could have ever done was or not could have done. One of the best things that ever happened to the NBA was LeVar Ball for a short time. Like, yo, he
Yeah.
made it fun to follow his when he was on the whole time, and regardless of what Lonzo did,
They need more
his
characters, man.
yeah, need a
They need more
character like
drama, dude. That's what the NBA needs, man. But I don't know.
I
See,
mean,
this is
or
where I don't know what they do.
I think you need more trash talking drama. I don't think you need more John Morant drama.
Mm,
Because that's like
no.
bad drama for the league. You know what I'm saying?
You just
You
need to
want more
drum up
like
your players,
you
man.
need like more like trash talking like that, not going out there in the streets with guns type of stuff.
No.
It needs to be more like, hey, me and you, NBA player, have a beef.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how
Like
people are
you
gonna try to
on the
watch
court. Yeah.
Wizards and the
He
Warriors next year.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they to a point where I'm over exaggerating, but to a point where NBA 2K24 has Jordan Poole and Draymond arguing in their commercial.
It
You
sells,
seen it?
man. No, I haven't seen it yet. I won't
Let me
even be
see here.
surprised, man. It's good. It's good entertainment for sure. It's good entertainment, man.
Let me
Yeah, I'd
see.
like to see more. I mean, it's out there. I'm misspeaking. I know a lot of these are already, kind of going. So,
I mean, for a while, right? They like one of the good things that was happening was like the beef between the Warriors and Cleveland for a while.
oh yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Sagas like that are good. I mean, anything involving your best players or known players is always good. See,
Yeah,
see, that's why I imagine, dude. How cool would this be if be like, dude, there's gonna be the whatever big money game, like I don't know, 1 billy on 2, 3 billy on the line, 4 billy on the line, something crazy, right?
so much more pressure too. It's gonna be
Yeah,
really.
you know what I'm saying? Who's entering? Who's here? I heard, LeBron's gonna be
But then
there.
the team owners would also feel a certain way, like, damn, we got to get this.
But team
Like
owners would be, like
so yeah, because then
every
you
year it would
gotta
be something
also
different, maybe, or some the
like
same.
it'll be a 20-80 split, right? Like it's a billion on the line, 20% goes to the owners, right? Because you
Oh
got
yeah,
and
for
then
sure. Owners would be like,
that
oh, that's all going donations. So it's like
and then
it's nothing. I just want to
eighty
see
percent
this.
goes to and the 80% goes to the players. You know what I'm saying? Who win
Yeah.
that? Well, okay, so you'll probably do like the winner gets if it's a billion, the winner gets 70% of the proceeds. The losers get something, right? Or they get nothing at all. Probably a lower percent, right? Like maybe the winners get 80, the losers get 20, right? But then within that percentage, it's still 20-80, meaning that the owners get 20% and the players get 80% after that.
How does boxing do it again?
I I think it's per fight.
See,
And if
hopefully that's the point. I think it gets to that point. It's almost like each player has their contract. So when they enter into a team dynamic, it's all just negotiations just to make sure they could figure that out. And it's based off of whatever not see, I'm trying to think of how they would do that every year to year. Do you change owners, have the same owners? If you team go into the team thing, seeing it's a little more control because like we provide the environment for you and all that. I'm like, nah, you get all that out. There's so many parks out there. You just test these dudes to get them on the best platform. Cover it well, cover it good. Just put money on the line, man. I just want to see them hoop. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Let them wear do
I,
rags. Let them wear the hoods on the head. All that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see it. That's what I hear. They say, yo, when you play with rag on, it's like superpowers, bro. That's why they don't allow in the NBA.
superpowers all of a sudden do right, like hoodie mellow, right?
That's what they say, right? Because you be seeing
Yeah,
them runs and you're like, damn, he hooping. Everybody's scared of Melo. Like the whole legacy of
it's so
Melo's
weird.
like
Yeah, it's because they
he
hoop
still
way
kills.
better in these things than they do, and this is with pro players than they
Mm-hmm.
do for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like way more passionate in these runs.
Dude, like those legendary Jordan runs when he was on the set of what's it called?
For Space Jam
Yeah, Space
that they talk
Jam,
about.
that UCLA or whatever, where it's like,
He
oh,
brought
this
back
came up.
ideas like He was like, "Nah, I want to see you. Nah, come out here play. I want to see you. I got to get ready."
See,
That's why Orlando Magic fucked up.
straight up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The movie had came out after he had already came back, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the next year he had the Space Jam shoes that came out
Yep.
because that's when that like because he was upset that he lost to he was making the movie. Then what and part of the agreement was that he was going to be able to shoot the movie while playing ball,
Mm.
but he also was like hella mad how they like Horace Grant got cheered off the thing.
Oh
And I think
yeah.
Horace Grant, if I could be wrong, but I wanted to say Horace Grant was like, "Why'd you guys do that?" He wasn't really wanting that. He didn't do any of it. He just
Yeah.
beat him. Well,
But
I
that
guess
was,
they knew that.
it was them. They just took down Jordan, dude.
Yeah,
Like 3/4 Jordan, but it was Jordan.
it was still Jordan.
It was him, bro. That's why I was like, yo, man, like, dude, imagine just but everybody in the league was trying to be Jordan. I mean, essentially they are. So you treat it that way. And every run, every game is negotiated, and then you're your own brand. You promote your own shoes, and that's where Nike got free reign. All the shoe brands got, plenty of options. Anybody could get in the game, I think. And then from there it becomes, popularity. Race to the top.
Yeah.
Who can garner it? You know what I'm saying? NBA done. Remixed.
Remix, baby.
Boom. Get your stems, everybody. Go get your stems on.
Yeah. All right, man.
Nice,
I'm
man.
about to
Thank you,
pull
brother.
it. I'll get to
Sky.
sleep.